Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Vacheron Constantin Overseas Chronograph. This is from the 49150 reference family. You can see and you can purchase this extraordinary red gold blue lacquer dial automatic chronograph on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this extraordinary watch, with additional accessories included in the sale, high-resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this red gold blue lacquer dial Vacheron Constantin Overseas Chronograph. Now, the Generation 2 Overseas is beloved. Unarguably, the generation of the Overseas that made this a staple of Vacheron Constantin's product catalog. In the era of the third generation Overseas, this specific model, the Grand Date chronograph, is being looked back upon with nostalgia and longing, and you may have never seen it in this combination of red gold and glossy blue lacquer dial. I know I certainly haven't. The bottom line is that this watch is spectacular and wearable. 42.5 millimeters across the round of the case, that's 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, not inclusive of the crown or chronograph pushers. It's slimmer than it looks. The watch only 12.6 millimeters thick with a generously sloped case flank and that conical Maltese cross motif bezel, allowing it easily to slide underneath the dress cuff. It also has a relatively bowl or cup-shaped back, so it nestles into the wrist and sits low naturally. Now, it is easy to wear on a small wrist. My wrist, 16 centimeters in circumference, wears this one easily. From lug to lug, the watch measures 50.7 millimeters, and one feature that I need to call out is that unlike many watches with integrated bracelets, I'm looking at you, Royal Oak, and I'm looking at you, Nautilus. The Overseas Generation 2 has a bracelet that's completely unconstrained and can be pulled straight down around a smaller wrist. If for whatever reason the Nautilus and the Royal Oak have not worked for you because of the rigidity and flare of the bracelets, you owe it to yourself to give this one a try. This will work. I would even say down to 14 to 14.5 centimeters in circumference, you can wear this watch with security and style. Now, of course, what you're getting is a very deluxe bracelet. You can see the repeating Maltese cross emblem motif, which can be appreciated throughout the design of this watch. Thematically consistent. It's also outstanding in its finish, as good as anything you'll get from Audemars Piguet or Patek Philippe. You can see the polished bevel on the shoulder of the links. You can see the polished flanks contrasting with the satin finished tops. And you can even see the gullies between the links are of high polish. On the underside, broad channels between the links and a satin finish for souplesse against the skin and also to avoid pinching skin or pulling hair. But wait, there's more. You could see each individual link of the bracelet is removable for precise sizing, tailoring to the size and shape of your wrist. Now, the clasp is substantial. All of red gold. When closed, it actually has a fairly low profile, such that it's more able to avoid desk diving damage than the larger dive-style clasps on other watches in the sporting class. And of course, with twin trigger release and still more Maltese cross imagery, you can see that this one has to be positively disengaged, not friction fit. It can't simply pop open. Now, moving back to the highlight of the watch, which is the dial, we're not quite there. Let's take in the case first. You can see contrasting satin finish on the hoods of the lugs as well as the hood of the case, contrasting with beautiful polished edges. Of course, the bracelet with all removable links also has junction with the lugs via screw. More secure than spring bars, gives you another layer of defense and more peace of mind when this heavy and valuable watch is on your wrist. You can see the flanks of the bezel feature satin finished between the individual flares, and then atop all polished, beautifully transitioning to a Rayhaut sloping down 60-second format for the chronograph seconds and the minutes. You'll also note the dial features two distinct blues. Now, it's not exactly the same register to main dial. There's a little bit of tonal variation and more perceptible in person that allows you to more easily distinguish the sub-registers. But one feature that Vacheron Constantin absolutely nailed here is the gloss finish of the dial. It has depth, it gleams, it sparkles, it almost looks permanently wet. And the gorgeous and beautifully balanced double-digit date, an icon of this generation of the watch. Handsome, it does feature quick set functionality. There's a beautiful red gold chapter ring for each one one of the registers in the handset center, as with the applied and luminescent indices in red gold to match. Now you'll note that the chronograph hours and minutes are fully calibrated with Arabic numerals and intermediate indices. You'll also note that the chronograph minutes at 3 o'clock has been enlarged, so there's a little bit of asymmetry here, but all in the service of functionality. Now, screw down crown, screw down chronograph pushers underneath the caseback. Vacheron Constantin's caliber 1137. It's based on the Frédéric Piguet 1185 automatic winding with a 40-hour power reserve. It's both shielded against magnetism and water resistant to 150 meters in this application. So this is a true full-featured sports watch. Moreover, this is an integrated chronograph, so the chronograph itself is not constructed of modules. It's not as though a 2892 has become a 2894 or a Audemars Piguet base caliber or JLC base caliber has been paired with a Dubois de Praz module. This here comes from Frédéric Piguet. Born as a chronograph, it lives as a chronograph with a vertical clutch for smooth engagement and continuous running without fear, and a column wheel for crisp actuation. Now, you'll want that vertical clutch because you may prefer to have center seconds and just leave the chronograph running. The integration allows the watch to be slim. In spite of its physical bulk, it is not thick at less than 13 millimeters. That's another of the advantages of the Piguet setup. And finally, the watch has extra room inside its case for that soft iron shell that encases the movement and protects it from magnetic flux densities produced by speakers and wiring looms, the closures of wallets, purses, and refrigerator doors. All of this achieved because the chronograph caliber is slim, and the module featuring the double-digit date is Vacheron Constantin's own. A handsome watch from a bygone era, a bygone generation, a well-regarded model, and a spectacular variation of that model. You can see and you can purchase this one on our website.